Hello, the topic for today's session is SAP and Oracle versus new startups. This is Hassan Mir from 02protraining.com. So we understand that SAP has the lion's share of ERP market, that is 22%, and Oracle has the second position at 15%. SAP came up with their ERP in 1970s and Oracle in 1980s, and both have been in a fierce competition since then. And if you take a look at what's going on in the market, you will notice that this fight is almost coming to a draw. However, a new fight has begun, and this time it's between the big players like Oracle and SAP with the new startups. Many new companies are emerging and they are bringing a fresher take to the concept of applications. There are indications that these new startups are doing something right. Their revenue is increasing year by year and they are capturing more and more of the market share. Just to give you a few examples, workplace.com and salesforce.com, they both are application vendors. However, salesforce.com is one of the oldest one in this group, about 10 years old, but it still they'll fit into this group because it has brought a fresher take on the concept of applications. So as mentioned, these companies are doing something right. Their revenues are increasing with time, although keep in mind that the total revenue that these big players are enjoying is still more than what these new companies are making, but their revenue is increasing with time. So when I use the term a fresh take on the applications, that entails various attributes, and one of those attributes is the concept of cloud, also implemented as software as a service. So software as a service is one implementation of the cloud concept. Okay, so just compare two scenarios. In scenario one, there's a company, let's call it a client company. They need an application like ERP or some CRM application, and the vendor goes to the client, do the installation on some hardware sitting on the premises of the client, and client has different client computers used by their employees to access that server on which the software has been installed. This is called the client server environment. So that is one scenario. Another scenario, let's say the same client needs an application and they call the vendor. Vendor does not go and do the installation on the premises. This simply enable the setup on the cloud, and all the employees are doing from the client company is accessing the application through the browser. All they need is a browser, and the application is sitting on some computers, maybe on the premises of the vendor or maybe on some data center, and all client is doing is accessing that application through the browser, and vendor is billing the client on the basis of the usage, and hence the term software as a service. Salesforce.com had been deploying applications using this concept since last 10 years, and they have proved that this is the winning concept. Oracle and SAP for longest time have resisted the concept of cloud, but finally they have shown the inclination to modify their on-premise applications to be deployed on the cloud architecture. So indirectly, Oracle and SAP has agreed that cloud is the winning concept. So the difference is that these upstarts are creating 100% cloud-based applications from ground up, while these big vendors are modifying their existing on-premise applications to work on the cloud infrastructure. So the main difference is that these upstarts are creating 100% cloud-based applications from ground up, while these big vendors are modifying their existing on-premise applications to work with cloud infrastructures. So they are coming up with extensions, usually known as software as a service extensions, to go with their existing applications. So these cloud-based software would offer certain benefits over on-premise applications just because of the fact that they're cloud-based. For example, these heavy-duty on-premise applications take long time to implement. Projects are long and expensive. Cloud-based deployment is very fast, and obviously it's less expensive as well because less time is spent in the deployment. So these heavy-duty applications, especially SAP, are known for inflexibility. It takes long time to implement these applications. No doubt they offer deep functionality, but once implemented, it's not easy to modify the functionality. In this modern age, a company should be able to change directions very fast. A company has to be agile, and the agility is hampered by these inflexible heavy-duty software. However, the cloud applications are very flexible. You can change your settings very quickly, and you can modify the functionality very quickly as well. So big advantages provided by the cloud-based applications to the company in terms of flexibility. Also, on the same note about integration, these on-premise applications are very hard to integrate with other applications running in the same environment. However, the cloud-based applications are easy to implement because they're based on service architecture. So they are offered as a service. Other applications can call these applications, these cloud applications, through a well-defined protocol. So the bottom line is that they offer easy integration. So about upgrades, these on-premise applications are very slow to upgrade. Projects are long and costly because functional team has to be involved and they have to analyze the impact on the application. It's not as simple as that you upgrade the application. You have to find out how the business will be impacted, are there new defects, how will the functionality change, and so on. And then you do the actual upgrade. That takes a long time. You do the testing and so on. These cloud-based applications are very quick to upgrade. Note that in case of the cloud scenario, the application is not hosted on premises with the client. It's hosted on the cloud. Client is simply accessing this application through the browser. So the upgrade will not be performed by the client. It will be performed by the vendor, and client will simply notice the application upgrade when it connects to the application next time through the browser. So the upgrade process is totally different, and it has a very less impact from the client's perspective, and it's pretty fast as compared to the on-premise applications upgrades. So we discussed some of the benefits that we were getting because of these applications being the cloud-based. Now, other than being cloud-based, also these applications are emitting some interesting qualities that are lacking in these old heavy-duty on-premise applications. For example, social collaboration features. In this modern era, social collaboration is very important feature of any corporate level applications. People need to talk to each other through the application in the right context, and these new upstarts are providing these features as integrated part of the applications. Keep in mind that SAP has more than 35 years of experience in ERP applications, for example, and all these new application companies are unable to provide as deep functionality as old vendors like Oracle and SAP. So this is where they are lacking right now, and with the passage of time, if they are able to overcome this barrier, then it will be a serious problem for these old vendors.